What's up guys, Kyle here again, and welcome to my totally impromptu video on this. The KHDK Lucifer, or as I like to call it, Lucifer pedal. Let's do it. Alright guys, thanks for tuning in. My name is Kyle, and if this is your first time here at my channel, what I do is make terrible jokes and take awesome high gain amplifiers, cabinets, overdrives, guitars, and pickups, record them with a simple SM57 setup, and I give you guys the unprocessed audio on your end. So if you're into E-standard thrash riffs, drop C hardcore riffs, and feeling secondhand embarrassed for somebody, you're in the right place. Consider hitting the like button and subscribing so you don't miss anything else. Thanks. Alright guys, so as I mentioned, this is a completely impromptu video. There's no intro playing portion on this one because we're going to go through this pedal together. This is the KHDK limited edition Lucifer pedal, designed in conjunction with Nurgle of Behemoth. It's part of a limited run. There was a first series that was limited to 333 pedals. I got in on the second series, which is also limited to 333 pedals for a total of 666 pedals. So my understanding of this pedal is it is kind of like a tweaked BB preamp style pedal, which is commonly used as an overdrive in front of high gain amps. I personally, if you guys can believe it, am not really super familiar with that circuit. I have never really used a BB preamp style pedal as a boost in front of an amp. I couldn't tell you why. It doesn't seem like as popular of a circuit for companies to kind of clone and tweak, so it's not like the TS9, which has a million different modded style TS9 pedals, or the recently repopularized TC preamp integrated circuit. I'm pretty sure I said that backwards, but anyways, that circuit has made a massive resurgence in popularity, and all sorts of pedal makers are kind of making those and putting their spin on it. So this pedal, like I said, more of a BB preamp style pedal. So we are going to experience this pedal together, see what it has to offer. I have not played this pedal through these amps. I chose these amps because they were sitting here and for no other reason. You guys know that my amps are usually a little bit more carefully curated towards the pedal that I'm using to showcase it, but honestly, I kind of just wanted to have fun with this one. So yeah, with that being said, I am using my Balaguer Typhon. Just got this guitar. It is their brand new model. It's obviously an Explorer style guitar. I can't tell you what pickups are in it, but they are hot. It's got a nice tummy cut on the back for us Asian guys. Not Asian, aging. Although if you're Asian and you want the belly cut, there's nothing wrong with that. Please don't cancel me. But I also have my Balaguer Espada and a Schecter KM6. The Espada has the evergreen pickups in it that are much lower output, and then the KM6 is tuned to C# standard, so we'll explore a lower tuning. We've got the Badlander here, the Invective MH, and I've got my Mesa cabinet. Right now the SM57 is actually on a DV77 speaker as opposed to my normal vintage 30s, so like I said, we're just mixing all sorts of stuff up here, having a good time. Let's get into it. All right guys, so here is the Badlander. We are on the Crunch channel. No pedal in front of it. This is just the amp and nothing else. All right, so let's engage the pedal. We've got the bass and the treble and the volume all at noon, and then I have the gain turned completely down. We're gonna use this as a traditional style overdrive to start. The reason I have the volume at noon is because this style of pedal has a lot of output, so we're gonna start it at noon and then dial it up from there if we need to. Pedal off. So it definitely adds quite a bit of output as soon as you turn it on with the volume at noon. So yeah, right off the bat, I mean, it sounds good to me. Let's get a little bit more low end response on there. All right, so we've got a decent low end boost going on. Most overdrives seem to cut low end. On this, it's nice because you can kind of fine tune it. At least that's what I'm getting so far. Let's turn the volume up and see if we can get some more output. Let's turn it up to 3 o'clock. Again, the amp with no boost. Okay, so that adds an absolute ton of output. That's actually really impressive. And it doesn't really seem to color the tone much. It seems to be brightening it and tightening it just a little bit, but there's no like mid hump or anything like that. On these types of pedals, I'm pretty sure that when you crank the volume, it fattens your signal up. And when your signal gets fatter, it kind of rolls off the high end a little bit. At least that's my experience with certain pedals when you're boosting volume. So let's actually add a little bit of treble and see if we can brighten things up a bit on the top end. Adding some treble in on the top kind of helps with the darkening of the pedal. I mean, to me, it seems like it got darker when I turned that boost up or the volume up. So let's turn the volume up all the way. We have a ton of gain going on right now, so I'm actually going to back it off on the Badlander to about 1 o'clock. And again, just to show you guys how much this is adding, here's the amp with no boost. It is truly a crunch channel on the Badlander. There's not a lot of gain on tap when you have it dialed this low. Pedal re-engaged. So it adds a lot of output. That's really impressive. Let's pull that gain back up just a little bit. I'm gonna add a little bit more low end from the amp and take out a little bit of the treble. Sounds awesome to me. That sounds really good. So let's try it with a guitar that has a lower gain or a lower output pickup in it and see kind of how much we can really add from the pedal from a guitar that doesn't have that much output to start with. All right, guys, I got my Balaguer Espada here. This guitar, the pickups in it are the Evergreens, which are much more like a kind of a hot PAF. They are not all that hot in comparison to the pickups that we were just using. So. Okay, so let's add just a little bit more gain from the amp. So that really is adding so much output to this amp. It's kind of crazy. Let's pull that bass response back up. It keeps the low end intact, but it tightens it at the same time. It doesn't really seem like the amp is kind of being thinned out, much like it would be if you were using like a Tube Screamer or an SD1 style boost. Just for fun, let's push that treble up to 3. Definitely adds some top end signal, but it doesn't really seem to go like over the top and make it like quacky or overly stringy. Sounds really good to me. This is impressive. One thing I do want to do, let's pull that volume back and let's add a little bit of gain from the amp, or from the pedal. All right, so that seems to add a considerable amount of saturation too, but pulling the volume back kind of pulls that signal back quite a bit. Say we were boosting a really low gain amp. Let's turn the gain all the way back to like noon on the Badlander. That sounds really good, and the overdrive sounds natural. It doesn't sound like it's like adding like a buzzy style clipping or anything. It sounds like you're just pushing the front end of the amp real hard. I can't talk. So that's cool. It definitely, when you turn it up to 9 o'clock, it is starting to color the tone. It's compressing it and darkening it a bit. So if we were to just pull it back down a little bit, add a little bit more volume. Okay, so that doesn't compress it quite as much, and it makes it sound a little bit fatter. I'm digging it. It sounds good, guys. It sounds really good. Okay, last but not least, let's check a drop tune guitar with this pedal and see if we can really kind of tighten things up. Okay, it tightens up significantly when you roll that bass back just a little bit. All right, so let's add a little bit of gain from the amp up to about 130. Here is the amp with no pedal. Lots of woofy bass frequencies, not very saturated. Kick it back in. Of a TC preamp that doesn't kind of like overload the front end of the amp. You can control and fine tune the bass and the treble frequencies, but the TC integrated preamp circuits can tend to overload the front end of an amp to the point where it sounds all like warbly and crunchy and weird. It's just hitting the front end of the amp too hard. This doesn't do that. I've got the gain all the way up and it's not overloading, but it's just adding a ton of saturation. So that's really cool. I'm gonna put the mids up, pull the bass back just a tad, and we're gonna go for a slightly more modern style tone. That's so tight for C sharp standard. That sounds incredible. I'm digging it, guys. Let's roll that top end back a little bit. It's okay for me to play that song wrong because I play drums in that band, not guitar. So yeah, it's kind of adding like a buzzsaw type thing to the amp. I'm not personally super digging it. it doesn't sound that good to me on the Invective mini head. Maybe a regular 5150 would work better. Again, this is kind of like an experimental video, so don't take this any type of way. It may or may not work great with your amp. All right, one last thing I'm gonna try. You guys see the Dover DA50 over here. I wasn't planning on using it, but let's try and plugging it in real quick. All right, guys, here's the Dover with no pedal. Here it is with the pedal engaged. Takes to that amp much better than it did with the Invective. So let's play a riff real quick and we're gonna call it a day. All right, that sounds great through the Dover. I am really digging that sound. So 2 out of 3 amps it works really well on. The Invective is the outlier. I'm really happy with how this amp, or with this pedal, guys. It sounds, again, to me like a TC integrated preamp circuit that's a little bit more controllable. Maybe I'll do a shootout with this pedal and one of my TC integrated pre circuits if you guys want. Let me know if you want to see more of this pedal on my channel just for fun. Again, I didn't really want to do like a super serious demo on the pedal because, again, you're not going to be able to get it. It's sold out everywhere and the prices on Reverb are already ridiculous. They're like 666 bucks. But yeah, hope that you guys enjoyed the demo. I hope that you found the tones that I was getting helpful in my descriptions. If you did, if you liked the video, please hit the like button on the way out. Consider subscribing to the channel so you don't miss any more stuff like this. Let me know what you thought of the pedal down in the comments. Is it something that you think? Did you think that it didn't really sound all that great or just didn't do what you expected it to do? Kind of curious to hear your guys' thoughts, so leave them down in the comments. I will meet you guys down there to talk about it. Down in the description of the video are all my support links, including my Sweetwater affiliate link, the link to my Patreon account, so if you want to support the channel, both of those are great ways to do it. Also consider becoming a part of the Belligerent Amateur community by joining my Discord group and my Facebook server. I would love to have you guys on board. Thanks again for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you again next time again. Bye again.